Namaste, I'm Lila Kirtana. We filmed this yoga class with the idea of you being able to practice with us from the comfort of your home. Since I can't see you, I wanted to mention some of the golden rules of yoga. Number 1, don't do anything you don't want to do. Everything in yoga is optional. Every yoga class is like a buffet. You don't need to try everything. Number 2, don't do anything that hurts. I want to distinguish between the feeling of a good stretch in the belly of a muscle as opposed to pain, like a sharp pain, which could be a ligament or a tendon. And those are not designed to be stretched as much as muscles. So if you're in pain, you might be doing it wrong. Best to back off. And there's lots of recommendations to use props, like a blanket underneath the knees for a bit of padding. And number 3 is to really enjoy yourself. Yoga is not designed to be so serious. Really, it's just the practice of connecting the body, the breath, and the mind. And so some days you might just feel like lying on your mat and doing nothing more. And that's okay. We have this opportunity to tune in, to be guided by our intuition. So please cultivate that, listen to that inner knowledge, and enjoy your practice. It's not meant to be a competition. You don't need to push yourself too hard. Really just get on the mat and move and breathe and feel good. And that is the practice of yoga. Namaste. Namaste and welcome to the Krishna Village 60-minute yoga sequence. We're going to begin with the Guru invocation, so please bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, the prayer position. And we'll flow through this in call and response. And so if you don't yet know the words, then you can join in just by listening. Let's begin and end with the mantra Om in unison. So to synchronize, we'll all take an exhalation to empty the lungs. A nice big breath in to the top. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Take a moment just to set your intention for the class ahead. Maybe you'd like to dedicate your practice to someone or something. And then gently release the hands down onto the knees. Today we'll be working with the Ujjayi breath. So bring one hand up to the mouth, and as if you were fogging a mirror, exhale, making a large sound. And then close the mouth and continue to make that sound. You see that it comes from the back of the throat, not through the nose. We make this sound by using the glottis and the epiglottis, the whisper muscles at the back of the throat. Continue to make this sound on the in-breath and the out-breath. And this is the sound of Ujjayi, the victorious breath. The most useful breath to use through our practice today is it stimulates the vagus nerve and helps to induce the parasympathetic nervous system. Just keep it sustainable, working at about 5 out of 10 in terms of your intensity. Today we'll also be working with the bandhas, the energetic locks of the body. And so ladies, disregard if menstruating today, but otherwise to engage in Mula Bandha, lift and pull up through the pelvic floor area. Again, just a strength of 5 out of 10, something that's sustainable to hold throughout the entire yoga class. And then gently pull up and in with the lower abdominal muscles, like you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. This is Uddiyana Bandha, the navel lock. And we use these bandhas together to secure and strengthen the lower back area. Try to keep these engaged until the end of the class. And then finally, Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock. We engage this by lifting and lengthening up through all sides of the neck. It's a gentle tuck of chin to chest, but a lift of the heart space, like you're trying to be the tallest person in the room. And these 3 bandhas together secure the spine, keep you strong and safe as you begin to move. Let's begin with Balasana, pose of the child. So take the feet out to one side and come around to a kneeling position. Take your blanket for a bit of cushioning underneath the knees. Sit back onto the feet, knees are together or just slightly apart. Let's inhale to find length through the spine. And then as you exhale, folding forward. If the head doesn't reach the floor, you could use hands or even make fists to rest the forehead onto the hands. If you're comfortable, bring the hands back beside the feet. Bend the elbows and allow the shoulders to peel open from the center. Soften the weight down into the heels. Relax the head into the floor. Find length through the entire spine. Balasana pose of the child is the resting pose. It's your home base. Feel free to come back here anytime throughout the class. Focus on the sound of Ujjayi breath, like gentle waves of the ocean. From here to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's remove the blanket. So inhale to sit up. Take the blanket off to the side. Come back into Balasana pose of the child. And now we stretch the hands forward. Spread the fingers wide, middle fingers pointing directly forward, and grip into the mat with the fingertips to protect the wrists. Plant the hands, inhale, come up onto the knees. We'll tuck the toes and lift the hips up towards the sky for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's work some alignment here. So we'll step the feet hip distance apart and slightly pigeon toe the feet so you can't see your heels. Take a micro bend through the knees and through the elbows. Just give the head a little nod, yes and no. Release the weight of the head down towards the floor. Now we lift and lengthen up through the sit bones and press the heels down towards the mat. Most important here is a nice straight spine. So you might need to take a slight bend through the knees to achieve that. And then broaden through the upper back, as if you're rolling the deltoid, the shoulder muscles out, and trying to hide your armpits. Downward facing dog is a rinse and cleanse. A fantastic pose to strengthen through the shoulders and to lengthen through the hamstrings. Focus on the sound of your breath, or Ujjayi. 2 more breaths here. Deep exhalation. And then from here, gently lower the knees down towards the floor. Vidalasana, cat-cow. You might like to have a blanket underneath the knees for a bit of padding. With Vidalasana, we keep the wrist directly underneath the shoulders and bring the knees to be hip distance apart. Tops of the feet flat on the floor. Again, spread the fingers, grip into the finger pads to protect the wrists. Any wrist injuries, you could make fists and keep the arms in a nice straight line. Now to come into cow pose, shine the chest forward as you lift the sit bones, arch the back and look forward. Then exhale into angry cat as you stretch the spine to the ceiling, tuck the chin under, tail under. Rotate forward to cow pose. Inhale. To angry cat. Exhale. Now continue with your own natural timing. Begin to flow back and forth. Let's make sure that there's a micro bend through the elbows. And try to start the movement down at the tail and allow it to ripple up through the spine so that the head moves last. Keep the neck nice and long as you look forward and up. A great posture for waking up the spine. Releasing the postural muscles, also massaging all the organs of the abdomen. You might like to freeform a little now, start to wag the tail back and forth, or make some rotations. Make a C shape with the waist, and just explore a bit of free movement. Breathe and stretch into all areas of the back, and just enjoy. Now come back onto your knees, come back to a kneeling position, and we'll take the blanket out to the side. Setting up for Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Keep long and low as you sweep through the hands, like a dog pushing a ball along the floor. And come to lay on the belly. Now we'll pull the fingertips back towards the floating ribs and squeeze the elbows in tight. Spread the fingers, tops of the feet firmly planted into the mat, even the pinky toes. And then as you exhale, peel away from the floor. Ensure that your Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, the pelvic floor lock and the navel lock are in place. And lift up as high as you can. Even lift up the hands, just to make sure you're using the strength of the back. Place the hands back down. And then press into the hands. We'll exhale and push back into extended Balasana, child pose. Soften the buttocks back onto the heels, arms are forward. Let's do that again. Inhale and scoop long and low through the hands. The elbows brush the sides of the body. And inhale, lift away from the floor to cobra. Press the feet into the floor, press into the hands, come back to extended child pose. Let's do a few more now with your own timing. Linking pose and breath. Inhale to scoop forward. And exhale to work backwards. Keep the core strong, engaged. Keep the neck nice and long as you look forward and up. Warming up the spine here. Gently warming up the shoulders. The next time you come back to child pose, let's hold here. And back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread the fingers wide, plant the hands, come up onto the knees, tuck the toes and lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And broaden through your upper back. Release the head. Spread the sit bones. A great pose to strengthen the heart muscle. From here, moving into a lunge, so let's raise up the right leg first, high to the sky, and then with control, gently step it in between the hands. You might need to help it through with the hand, and lower the back knee to the floor. Option to bring a blanket in under that back knee if it's feeling a bit sensitive. Now with our lunge, we need to check that this front knee is directly stacked above the ankle. Walk it forward till it's a 90-degree angle. Come up onto the fingertips and lift the chest and start to work the hips down towards the mat. Nice long spine. Here's a gentle option. Stay here, option 1, or option 2, come to a high lunge by tucking the back toes and stretching the mat apart with the feet. Again, hips continue to work down. Make sure the bundas are strong and secure here. Option 2, stay here. Or option 3, crescent lunge. We press into the front foot and raise the arms up. Still continue to work down for that hip flexor stretch and pull the shoulders down the spine, arms into their sockets. Spin the pinky fingers forward, looking up if it's comfortable for the neck. Take a powerful breath here. Reach out through the fingertips as you find length through the spine. One more breath here, inhale. And then as you exhale, float the hands down either side of that front foot. We'll press into the hands and extend that right leg back to the sky. Setting up for pigeon pose, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. We'll bring the right knee through towards the right wrist and soften the hips down. Now, if you know that your knee is not happy in this position, one option is the reclined pigeon, where we move onto the back, bend the knees, and bring that right foot onto the left thigh. We reach through the triangle created by the legs to work that thigh in towards the face. Takes the weight out of the knee. But if you're joining me here in pigeon pose, wonderful to use a few props to be comfortable. We could use a block or a blanket underneath that right hip. Now we dorsiflex the front foot, pull the toes back towards the knee to protect the knee, and stretch out through that back leg. Inhale to find some length, and exhale to come forward. And you again could make fists to rest the head onto. You could use a prop, or you could simply stretch the hands away. And we try to find a nice even table through this lower back area. So work that left hip down and try not to hunch through the shoulders. A softness and opening here of the spine. Relax the head. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Deep stretch of the piriformis and glute muscles. Great hip release. One more breath here, inhale. And then as you exhale, press into the hands. Walk yourself back upright and come back into downward facing dog. Let's all meet in downward facing dog, and we'll lunge to the other side. Step the feet together, raise up the left leg, inhale. And as you exhale, gently step forward in between the hands. You can help it forward with the hand and lower the back knee to the floor. 90-degree angle through that front knee, knee stacked directly above the ankle, and soften the hips towards the floor. Inhale as you lift the chest. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, tuck the back toes, come into the high lunge, stretch the mat apart with the feet. Strong through the core here, engage the bandhas. And option 3, if you wish, crescent lunge. And raise the arms up, pull the arms into their sockets. Spin the pinky fingers forward and look up if it's comfortable for your neck. Powerful Ujjayi breaths here. Breathe into the belly. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, we'll float the hands down either side of the front foot. Stepping back now as you raise the left leg to the sky and pigeon pose, your choice. Either come onto your back for reclined pigeon or draw that left knee forward towards the left hand. Dorsiflex the foot and take any prop underneath that left hip. Quick check behind that back leg is aligned with the long edge of the mat. Inhale, pull leg through the spine, and exhale, fold forward. Come onto the forearms or release the head right down to the floor. Again, soften here through the hips. Relax the weight of the body into the mat. Take some deep breaths right down to the base of your spine. Invite that hip area to open and release. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, one-legged king pigeon pose. Beautiful hip opener. One more powerful breath in. And as you exhale, walk the hands back as you draw upright. We'll plant the hands. Let's all meet back in downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And take any props off to the side. To Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Start to walk your feet and come to the top of your mat. Let's have the feet hip distance apart, which means you could fit 2 of your fists in between the big toe mounds. Take a deep knee bend here and lay the chest onto the thighs. And gently nod the head yes or no. Make sure you're not holding anything through the neck. Now start to straighten the legs. Keep a micro bend through the knees, but lift the hips, spread the sit bones. Nice long spine here. Broaden through the upper back. Uttanasana, standing forward fold. From here to Utkatasana, chair pose, we inhale and sweep the hands low and forward. Sit back into your imaginary chair. Now, if you look down briefly, you should be able to see your toes. Bring the weight back into the heels. Squeeze the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor, and pull the arms into their shoulder sockets. You might even like to take the hands a little bit wider apart so that you're nice and broad through the upper back. Inhale. And then exhale, let's fold forward, Uttanasana, soften. To Utkatasana, one more time, inhale, sweep the hands forward, squeeze the belly, bandhas are strong. Sink down a little deeper into your squat. Bring some real heat into those thighs. Standing thunderbolt pose, great leg strengthener. Don't forget to breathe. One more breath here, inhale, and then exhale. We'll come to Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's run through some points of alignment here in Tadasana. You can stand with the feet together or hip distance apart, but slightly pigeon toe the feet. Spread out the toes. And press into all 4 corners of the feet, front and back, left and right. But lift the inner arches. And draw energy up the thighs now. Lift the kneecaps, lift the quadriceps, lift the pelvic floor. Let's switch on Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Pull energy up through the spine. We roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then back down and away. And extend out with strong fingers towards the floor. And now lift through the crown of the head as if you're being drawn up to heaven by the hair. Close the eyes and feel the strength, steadiness of the mountain. Grounded and peaceful. Tadasana, mountain pose, is the foundation for all of our standing poses. To Urdhva Hastasana, tall mountain. Inhale now as you sweep the hands to the side. Look up if the neck is comfortable here. We're going to micro bend the knees and gracefully swan dive down towards the floor. Uttanasana, exhale. Take a deep knee bend and inhale as you sweep open to the sky. Powerful breath into the top, and exhale, float, swan dive gracefully back to the earth. Let's do that again. Inhale, root to rise. Inhale, sweep open with energy through the fingertips. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Last one. Inhale, sweep open. And bring the hands to prayer. Tadasana, mountain pose. Samastiti, even balance. Malasana, yogi squat now. So take the feet a little wider than your hip distance apart. And if you need to, you could take a blanket and just press the heels onto the edge of the blanket or a block if you need a bit of support there. Taking care with the knees, inhale first. Exhale and gently sit down in between the thighs. Bring the elbows inside. And begin to work the knees apart. Close your eyes, take a few breaths here. Powerful hip opener, fantastic for the reproductive system, the digestive system. Bring some energy into that pelvic area. Beautiful. We're going to take a seat now, so you might like to have a blanket or a block behind you as you sit down for the TP twist. So bring the feet in front together, knees together. Gentle twist to open the spine here. Let's inhale the left arm to the sky and bring it around behind like a second spine. The right arm is going to grip both the knees. Again, inhale, pull some length, and exhale as you start to rotate, turning to look over your back shoulder. Take another powerful breath in here, find length, and exhale, find a bit more depth to your twist. Our spines love to twist. To release, inhale, come back to center. Let's switch the hands now. Left hand grabs the knees, right arm, inhale to the sky. And rotate around behind. Inhale to pull length through the spine and exhale to rotate. One more big breath in, find length. Exhale, twist a little deeper. And to release, inhale, come back to the center. Let's take the feet out to the side, remove all the props now, setting up for Kumbhakasana, plank pose. Few options here. Let's begin with the gentle option. So we'll stack the wrist directly underneath the shoulders and take the knees a little further back. We'll draw the hips forward, looking for a straight line now from the knees right up to the crown of the head. Keep strong through the core, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha engaged. And begin to dome through the upper back. Press up through the center. Keep the head in line with the spine, reaching out through the crown. Kumbhakasana strengthens through the shoulders and the wrists. To come down to a gentle chaturanga now, pitch the weight forward and shoot the elbows back. Keep the elbows brushing the sides of the body as you gently lower down to hover just above the ground. Elbows are tight here, shoulder blades working in. And then gently release the belly down onto the floor. And let's practice Bhujangasana now, cobra pose, as you peel the chest away from the floor, elbows tight. And press into the hands, tuck the toes, and find your way back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You need to step the feet in and apart, fingers are broad. That's the gentle option, gentle package deal here. We can practice Kumbhakasana with knees to the floor, the gentle chaturanga, low push-up, and Bhujangasana Cobra pose. So feel free to stick with that routine as we now work into the stronger options. Kumbhakasana plank pose. Bring the weight forward now, straight arm plank. You might need to step the feet back a little or work the hands forward. Continue to dome up through the upper back. Little micro bend through the elbows here. Core is strong. Inhale to Chaturanga. Pitch the weight forward. Keep the elbows brushing the sides of the body as you gently lower down to hover just above the ground. And with control to upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, press into the hands, roll onto the tops of the feet, shine the chest forward. Now pull the shoulders back and really lift away from the floor. Keep the head looking forward, neck is long. And with control now, gently roll over the toes and find your way back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Step the feet in and apart. Broaden through the upper back. Let's flow through this one more time. Your option to keep the knees on the floor and do Bhujangasana Cobra pose, or to stay higher. In the second option, the body does not touch the floor. So it requires great upper body strength and core strength. Reminder never to work through any pain. Kumbhakasana, your choice. Bring the weight forward. Shoulders stacked above the wrists. Gently lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank, hovering just above the ground. Inhale to your choice of back bend, Cobra or upward facing dog. And let's all meet back in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step the feet in and apart, broaden through the upper back. And take a breath here. Walk the feet to the top of your mat, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Micro bend through the knees and root to rise as you inhale, sweep open to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana, tall mountain. Let's continue to flow. Exhale as you swan dive gently to the floor, fingertips brush the earth. With control, inhale, root to rise. Nice energy out through the fingertips. One more time, swan dive gracefully down, Uttanasana. And with control, lengthen through the spine. Inhale, draw that prana into the belly. Hands to prayer, Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's move through our back bending and curling sequence. So clasp the fingers together, keeping the index fingers straight. And we inhale and reach the arms up towards the sky. Now have a firm foundation, feet hip distance apart, core is strong, spine is long. We're going to move in 3 directions, back, to the left and to the right. So inhale up, reach up through the fingers, and with control, gentle back bend. Draw a line across the ceiling and stretch through the front of the body. Inhale back to center, and let's go to the right. Exhale as you reach over, find a side stretch, anchor down into that foot. Inhale back to center and over to the other side now. Good, inhale back to center. Let's do those 3 directions one more time. Exhale, gentle back bend. Inhale to center, over to the side. Inhale back to center and over to the other side. Beautiful, and release. Now clasp your fingers and bring them to the back of the head here. We're going to move down towards the floor in tiny increments, working to stretch and open through the upper back area. So inhale and draw the elbows back. Find broadness through the front. Chin to chest, exhale. Use the weight of the arms to find a stretch through the back of the neck. Knees are soft. Draw the elbows back. Inhale, find length. And chin to sternum, middle of the chest. Begin to round through the upper back. Root to rise, inhale as you draw the elbows back. Core is strong here. And round through the upper back as you exhale, chin to belly. Root to rise, inhale, stand tall. Chin to thighs, begin to fold in half. Root to rise, inhale, open, lengthen. And chin to knees now as we fold in half. Last one, root to rise, inhale as you pull the elbows back, broaden. This time we stay down low, exhale, fold in half, release the hands to the floor to chair pose here. Inhale, sweep the hands forward, sit back into your imaginary chair, squeeze the belly, fold forward, exhale, Uttanasana. To the sky now, inhale as you rise. And let's do that one more time. Clasp the hands, exhale, bring them to the back of the neck. Inhale as you open through the front and chin to chest, exhale, stretch the back of the neck. Inhale as you stand tall, broaden, and chin to sternum, round through the upper back. Keep the knees soft. Inhale as you lengthen and fold forward, chin to belly, exhale. Root to rise, inhale, find length. Chin to thighs, exhale, round into the upper back. Bend the knees, root to rise, inhale, stand tall. Chin to knees, folding in half. And we'll do it one more time. Inhale, stand tall, pull length through the spine. This time we stay low, fold in half, exhale, release the hands to the floor. Chair pose, inhale, sweep the hands forward, sit back into your chair. Uttanasana, forward fold, exhale. To the sky, inhale, sweep open, look up. And hands to prayer, Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment here, close your eyes, connect with the breath. Feel centered and grounded. Where do you feel any sensation in the body? Can you feel energy, prana, moving, circulating, strengthening? Good, open the eyes, release the hands. Just shake out your posture. We're going to move through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar, sun salutations, A and B. So a reminder here to keep the bandhas firm in place for the security and safety of your spine. Each posture is connected to a breath, inhalation or exhalation. So keep the breath flowing, take extra breaths if you need to. And the gentle option is to keep the knees to the floor for Chaturanga, followed by Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Or the stronger option, the body doesn't touch the floor as we push through to upward facing dog. So just tune in and notice what your body needs to do today. So let's begin in Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, option to have the feet hip distance apart or the big toes touching and a slight gap in between the heels. Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation A. Tall mountain, inhale, reach up, look up if the neck is comfortable. And micro bend the knees, exhale as you swan dive forward, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift, bring the hands onto the knees, lengthen the spine. And plant the hands and gently step or float back, lowering down to Chaturanga, your choice, knees to floor. Cobra or upward facing dog, shine the chest forward, inhale. And roll over the toes, downward facing dog, exhale. Step the feet in and apart, let's take a breath here. Let me hear the sound of Ujjayi. Press into the fingertips to find strength in the hands. A nice broad upper back. Now to continue, exhale completely. Bend the knees, hold the breath out and lightly step or float to the top of the mat. Half lift, inhale, hands to knees. Uttanasana, forward fold, exhale, soften. Root to rise, Urdhva Hastasana, tall mountain, look up if it's comfortable. Let's keep flowing now. Uttanasana, forward fold, exhale. Half lift, hands to knees, pull length through the spine as you inhale, and then plant the hands and gently step or float back to your version Chaturanga. Your choice of back bend, cobra or up dog, roll over the toes. To downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, step the feet in and apart. Let's take a few breaths here to connect. Pull length through the spine and soften the heels towards the floor. Slightly pigeon toe the feet. The hands are spread and press down at the base of each finger and thumb to support the wrists. Connect with the breath. And on your next exhalation, hold the breath out. Pause, bend the knees and lightly spring or step forward. Half lift, inhale here, pull length. Forward fold, Uttanasana, exhale. To the sky, inhale as you sweep open, Urdhva Hastasana. One more time, exhale, fold forward, swan dive, fingertips brush the earth. Lengthen through the spine, inhale, half lift. Plant the hands with control, gently lower down, your choice, Chaturanga Dandasana, and pull through to the back bend. Shine the chest forward, then roll over the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. A few breaths here. Broaden through your upper back. Lift and spread the sit bones. And keep a micro bend through both the knees and the elbows for safety. On your next out breath, let's hold here, Kumbhaka, breath retention. Bend the knees, lightly spring or step forward. Half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Forward fold, Uttanasana. To the sky, inhale as you root to rise. And hands to press, Samastiti, Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale. Take a moment just to connect in. Let's move through 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutations B. So this sequence includes chair pose, Udkatasana, and also Virabhadrasana 1. Let's just quickly workshop Virabhadrasana 1. We'll step the feet hip distance apart, bring the hands onto the hips and take the right foot about a leg length back. Ensure that your feet are still hip distance apart. That helps with balance. And take a lunge into the front knee. Like in all lunges, keep the knee directly above the ankle. And then pull up through the spine, raise the arms and soften the shoulders down. Even take the hands a little wider apart. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 pose. Great for building confidence and courage. Let's bring the hands down onto the hips. We'll do the other side. So step the back foot forward. Step the left leg back, again about a leg length apart. The wider apart, the more challenging the pose. Take a lunge into that front knee. Make sure the knee is always tracking in line with the center toes, not collapsing in or out. And then raise the arms tall. Strengthen through the thighs. And take the hands slightly wider apart, pull them down into the sockets. Shoulder blades moving down the spine. Feel strong in this pose. Good, hands onto the hips. Let's step the feet forward and prepare for our Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutations B. Again, option to take the knees to the floor for Chaturanga. and do the gentle back bend instead. Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale as you sweep low, sit back into your imaginary chair. Forward fold, exhale, Uttanasana here. Ardha Uttanasana, find length, bring the hands onto the knees. Inhale, then plant the hands and gently step or float back to your version of Chaturanga, shining the chest forward in your choice of back bend. And roll over the toes, come back into downward facing dog. Now plant the left foot, we step the right foot in between the hands for Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale as you raise the arms up. And then plant the hands either side of the front foot, step back and lower down to your Chaturanga. Shine the chest forward, upward facing dog or cobra. Then roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Plant the right foot now and step the left foot in between the hands. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Shine the chest. And plant the hands, step back to your version of Chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, shine the chest forward. And roll over the toes. Downward facing dog here. We step the feet in and apart and hold for a few breaths. Soften the heels towards the floor, long spine. Control the breath, a gentle whisper of Ujjayi. Another powerful breath in. And a full breath out. And then bend the knees and lightly step or float to the top of the mat. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. And soften down, Uttanasana, forward fold. To chair pose here, Utkatasana. Swing the hands forward, sit back into your chair. And Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's do it one more time here. Utkatasana, inhale, sit down. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Half lift, lengthen the spine. Inhale. Your option, Chaturanga, gently lower down. Elbows brush the sides of the body to your choice of back bend. Inhale, shine the chest. Downward facing dog, roll over the toes. And the right foot steps between the hands with control. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Plant the hands. Lower back down to Chaturanga. Inhale, your choice of back bend. Roll over the toes. Downward facing dog, exhale. And the left foot now, you can help it through with the hand. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Plant the hands. Last one, Chaturanga. Shine the chest with control. Inhale. And then roll over the toes. Downward facing dog. Step the feet in and apart. Let's hold here for a few cleansing breaths. And to finish now, on your next exhalation, hold the breath out, bend the knees, lightly step or float forward to the half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. To chair pose, sweep the hands forward, inhale. And Tadasana, mountain pose. Close the eyes, take a breath here. Can you feel your heart beating in the chest? Slow down your breath. Find a steadiness. Moving down to the floor now. Let's inhale, raise the arms to the sky, tall mountain. Bend the knees, one dive gracefully to the floor. And gently step the legs back one at a time to your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And lower the knees to the floor, take the buttocks back onto the heels, Balasana. Option to bring the hands underneath the forehead or back beside the feet. We're going to do a few seated poses now. So sink the weight into the buttocks, pulling through the belly, and inhale to lift yourself up. Take a blanket or a block and find a nice position at the back of the mat. You might like to keep your strap handy. For Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Now if you're sitting on a blanket, scooch right to the very edge. Even lift the flesh of the buttocks away to find a bit more height. We'll take the strap around the ball of the feet, just underneath the toes, and straighten the legs. And come into Dandasana, seated rod pose, like a 90-degree angle. If that's difficult for you, find a bit more height through your seat by sitting on a bolster or a block. Take the strap, one in each hand. Pull the toes back here, but keep a micro bend through the knees. Pull energy up through the legs as you push out through the heels and draw the shoulders back and away. It's important not to round out through the spine in this pose. Keep the heart space open and the front long. Let's inhale, pull some length, and exhale and start to gently work the hands down towards the feet in tiny increments. Keep working the breath here. Spine lengthening, breath in, and exhale, folding a little deeper. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Keep pulling back on the toes and the balls of the feet. Pulling length up through the front, and kneecaps lift. And tilting right from the pelvis, not just the upper back. You could drop the strap and hold on to the feet if that's comfortable for you. We keep the head in line with the spine. A gentle tuck of chin to chest to reach out through the crown. Nice calm breaths here. Lengthening the entire back of the body. Paschima means west. The intense stretch of the west side of your body, the entire back of the legs, the back, the shoulders, all the way up through the back of the head. Forward bends are generally quite calming and soothing for the nervous system. Begin to lengthen your exhalation as you deepen into this pose. Focus on the sound of your breath. The gentle waves of Ujjayi. Just 2 more breaths here. Prepare to release. And then gently begin to sit upright. We can take the strap off and face it to the side. Upavishta Konasana, seated straddle pose. Just take the legs out in each direction, as wide as is comfortable, perhaps 90-degree angle here. Again, pull back on the toes and keep a little micro bend through the knees here. Option 1 is to begin with the hands behind, so pull some length through the spine as you inhale, press into the fingers. You might like to stay here, or option 2 is to bring the hands in front. Again, inhale as you lengthen, and exhale, start to walk the hands forward, still maintaining a broad, open front of the body. We take some time to come into these poses, working with large muscle groups. Breathe into openness here. The adductors begin to release, lengthen, and keep pulling back on the toes. Working out through the heels. Anterior pelvic tilt here, right from the base of the pelvis. Long spine. Upavishta Konasana. Seated straddle pose. Now to release, inhale, look forward, and as you exhale, gently walk the hands back as you come upright, and slip the hands underneath the knees to bring the legs in one at a time, and give yourself a little hug from that extended position. We're going to lie down now for Supta Matsyendrasana. So just come to a reclining position, and you might like to have a pillow underneath the head. Make sure you've got a bit of space as we'll move into a twist here. So lie flat on your back with the hands down beside the body. Now let's bend the knees and press the feet into the floor. Now to initiate the twist, pick up your hips and shift them a few inches to the right side of your mat, and tuck that left hip under. Good, then straighten out the left leg and hug the right knee in towards the body. We'll take that knee, the opposite hand, inhale, and exhale as you draw it across over towards the floor. If it doesn't easily reach the floor, you could use a prop underneath the knee, and then stretch away with the arm. If it suits the head, you can turn to look along that extended arm. Open through the chest area, the armpit. Another beautiful twist to counterpose the back bends and the forward bends that we've done today. When we twist through the spine, all the organs get a massage like a sponge, being wrung out and then filled with fresh, new oxygenated blood, nutrients. Powerful cleanse. One more breath here. And then to release, when you're ready, take that knee back across. And just reposition yourself central on the mat. You might like to take your prop over to the other side. Then we'll bend the knees, press the feet into the mat, and pick your hips up and shift them the other way, tucking the right hip under. Stretch out your right leg, hug the left knee in, and draw it across the body as you exhale. Find a prop. Stretch away with the left arm now. Perhaps turning the head to look along that arm. And let go of the bandhas here. Just begin to soften all the muscles of the body as you melt into the floor. And feel the support of the earth beneath you, how she holds that weight, so that you can relax. Begin to really lengthen your exhalation now as we drop in to our parasympathetic nervous system begin to soften and surrender. Good, one more breath here, prepare to release. And when you're ready, take yourself back to center. It's time now for everybody's favorite pose, Shavasana, our pose of deep relaxation. So let's use the props to be really comfortable here. A folded blanket underneath the head, and a bolster underneath the knees. These will help to support the natural curvature of your spine so that you can relax in your position. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. Lie with the feet hip width apart or even wider, and let the feet just flop out to either side. We bring the hands down beside the body, palms raised, fingertips curling in, whichever position is comfortable. Pick up the head and stretch it away from the body to find as much length through the underside of the skull as you can. And then pick up the hips and shift them towards the feet again to lengthen, elongate through that lower back area. Just make any last adjustments. See if you can make yourself even more comfortable, and then become completely still. Nothing to think about here, nothing to do. Shavasana is said to be the most important of all the poses. This is where we truly integrate all the benefits of the poses on a cellular level. So allow yourself to be still, to relax. Allow the body to enter a state of deep peace. And become aware of your relaxed body lying on the floor. And feel the earth beneath you and the vast sky above you. And begin to deepen the breath, gently awakening. Perhaps some tiny movements now in the fingers and the toes. A slight smile around the lips. You might like to reach the arms up above the head and take a deep breath in as you stretch the body from top to bottom. And a big sigh to exhale. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. Gently roll over to the right side. Rest there for a few breaths in the fetal position. Take a moment just to appreciate this feeling. A relaxed body and a peaceful mind. And take a moment just to express gratitude for this body and for this practice. We give thanks to the teachers and the teachers of those teachers, stretching back through the golden chain. We appreciate the efforts they have gone to share this knowledge. It's symbolic now as we move from the corpse pose to the fetal position. This represents a new beginning, a new way to be in the world. So take a moment just to remember the sankalpa, the intention you set at the beginning of the practice. When you feel ready, push up with the hand and come back to a comfortable seat. A nice long spine, and we'll take the hands to prayer, the heart center. Ready to enjoy the celebration of life. Now, to seal the energy of our practice today, let's chant one long mantra Om together, followed by 3 shantis, our prayer for peace. So we'll synchronize now with an exhalation, empty the lungs. A full breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently bow your forehead to the fingertips. The divine in me acknowledges and salutes the divine in you. Together we say, Namaste.